The second question is about the demand curve facing the oligopolist. So you should now remember how the demand curve looks like. It's the kinked demand curve. Working on this question, you will have the better understanding why the demand curve is so unique when we have oligopoly market. Before we start work on the question, let me remind you one very important sentence on the textbook. On the textbook, it said, the shape of the demand curve facing an oligopolist depends on the response of its rivals to price and output decision. If rivals do not match price cuts, then the oligopolist would have the lowest price in the market, and its sales would increase dramatically alone. In this case, and the opposite is true if the oligopolist decide to raise price. If its competitors do not match the price increase, the oligopolist stand to lose a great deal of sale volume as consumers flock to the competitor with the cheaper price alone. So I remind you this sentence or paragraph is trying to help you solve this problem. Now we will use some real number to see how can we use a real number to help us to explain the kinked demand curve. So let's look at the question. Assume an oligopolist comes from the two possible demand curves for its own output as illustrated below. Above, the first, the demand curve A, is if other oligopolists do not match price change. So which means the blue curve is not matched. It's the scenario why the rivals not match. So the second prevail if rival do match price changes. So the green curve is the rival match the price change. Now let's look at the specific question. By how much does quantity demand increase if price is reduced from $11 to $9 when the rival match price cut? So first, let's look at the scenario when the rival match price cut when this oligopolist decrease price from $11 to $9. So since the rivals will match the price, so we just look at the green curve. So the initial price is $11. So when we have $11, we use the older notation P0 equal to $11. And how about the initial demand? So initial demand corresponding to $11 is 10 units. So how about the price decreased to $9 here? So at this point, and we can find, so when we increase the price, decrease price to $9, the new demand become like 11 units. So we can find, so look at the first question. The rival match, when rival match price cut, and how much demand will increase. So obviously, the demand increased from 10 to 11, so it increased by 1 unit. So now look at the second part of this question. So when another scenario, rival do not match price cut. So we just look at this, the blue line. So if we look at the blue line, and so we can start to look at the second scenario, not match. So the initial price $11. So we have 10 demand. So it's still the same initial state. 10 units. How about the price decreased to $9? We can find it located at this point. So when the price equal to $9, the new quantity demanded is corresponding to 14 units. So obviously the change of the quantity increased by 4 units. So now you finish the first two parts. The rival matched the price cut, so we have the change of the demand is 1 unit. When the rival do not match the price, the change of units is 4 units. So now you finish answer the first two questions. Look at the second part. By how much does quantity demand decrease if a price is raised from $11 to $13 when the rival match price hike and when the rival do not match price hike? So everything are similar, but we are considering the price hike, not price cut. So first, let's look at the scenario when so let's look at here. So now we have the price hike. First, let's look at the scenario when the rivals match the price. So the initial price still $11. So the P0 equal to $11. So the Q0 never change because it's equilibrium point. So still 10 units. So now the price instead of decreased to 9, it increased to $13. So now we look at the match curve, so which is the blue curve, the green curve. So we can find after the price increased to $13, corresponding to $13, and we found the quantity demand is what? So you can see when price increase, the quantity demand is 9 units. Right? So from 10 units decrease to what? Decrease to 9 units. And that is when the $11 increased to $13 and the demand decreased to 9 units. So the change of the quantity is 1 unit. Look at the second scenario, not match. So if they do not match, so the initial, so now we will look at the blue curve. So if we do not match, so the initial price is still $11, initial demand is still 10 units. Now let's look at when the price increased to $13, how about the demand change? So when the price increased to $13, then we find the intersection between the 13 horizontal line with the blue line, and we find this point. Corresponding to this point, we found the demand is 6 units, so that is 6 units. Now the question, we will know that when the price increase and if the rivals do not match price, the change of the quantity is 4 units. So the quantity decreased 4 units. So now we can fill in the blank here. So when the rival match the price, so the change is 1 unit. When the rival do not match the price and the change, the demand decrease 4 units. So this is decrease, decrease, increase, increase. So obviously, what we can find is when the price, the first part, so the price is reduced from $11 to $9. So the best strategy is the rival try to match the price cut, because they will lose fewer units, only lose 1 unit to this oligopoly. So if this company oligopolies is raise the price 11 to 13, so the best strategy is do not match the price hike, because in that scenario, this oligopoly would reduce the highest amount of the demand to the rivals. So the rival will definitely try to not match the price. So now by doing this analysis, we can find if the price increase, the best idea is trying to not match, so that is this part. So if the price decrease, and the best idea for the rival is trying to match because they will lose less. So now you can find the valid demand curve for oligopoly is this king. So I use the mark pen to highlight it. So we have this angle, that is the optimal, the equilibrium point is this king.